Oh boy, we got to talk about the Kyle trial, and boy, did the prosecution suck today. They completely destroyed the case against Kyle Rittenhouse. I have stated since day one, it's the first video I've ever made about this situation. I was all in for Kyle Rittenhouse. All of the video evidence clearly supported a clear-cut case of self-defense. And then, of course, afterwards, we got a little bit more information. Now, the laws were on Kyle's side. The philosophy was on Kyle's side. The tangible, concrete evidence was on Kyle Rittenhouse's side. Nothing else. However, sleepy, creepy Biden has come out to defend the violent Black Lives Matter activist thugs. The FBI comes out to defend them. The corrupt police or the detectives, the people responsible for investigating the case, they come out to shill for Black Lives Matter, for the Democratic Party. And of course, there's other organizations that were involved in pushing this false narrative that Kyle Rittenhouse was this evil, spooky white supremacist, even though he's not white, he's Latino. He's a young Latino boy. And he is also not racist. I know they like to paint him as a racist, but I'll give you $1,000 if you can find an instance of him being a racist or saying racist things. Also, he's been accused of being a white supremacist. So again, I will pay you $1,000 if you can find me evidence of him having the worldview or an opinion that is tantamount to wanting to have supremacy over another person or an individual or a group of people because of immutable characteristics like the color of their skin. I know people think he's white. He's not. Not like that matters or there's anything wrong with that. I just want to set the record straight because there's a lot of fakes out there. There's a lot of liars out there. And I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to, keep it real, keep it 100. And that's why I got a lot of enemies. And it's oh yeah, by the way, speaking of people that I've gone after, Caleb of Gun Nuts Media is gone. Apparently we bullied him off the platform, and I guess he's given up on YouTube. Thank goodness. The last thing we need are liars and people who are going to defame and smear other content creators for no reason. But anyways, I digress. Let's go back and let's watch this clip. It's only about a minute long of a very pivotal moment of the trial. Let's take a look.
Okay. That's Mr. Rittenhouse?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you'd agree your firearm is pointed at Mr. Rittenhouse, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And once your firearm is pointed at Mr. Rittenhouse, that's when he fires his gun. Yes?
No.
Sir, look, I don't want to... Does this look like right now your arm is being shot?
That looks like my bicep being vaporized, yes.
Okay. And it's being vaporized as you're pointing your gun directly at him. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so when you were standing 3 to 5 feet from him with your arms up in the air, he never fired, right?
Correct.
It wasn't until you pointed your gun at him, advanced on him, with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him, that he fired, right?
Correct.
All right, well, there's plenty more to look over, guys. There's plenty more to look over. So what else do we have here? Oh, yeah, so he's been going on. Let's talk about this tweet. This is from Gage Grosskreutz. He's the douchebag, fruitcake, Black Lives Matter, wannabe medic, wannabe paramedic, whatever he wants to call himself. He hasn't done this thing for quite some time. He says, make sure you look and listen for the defendant's firearm malfunction, winky face. So that's basically, this is a mask off moment, as the left likes to put it. This is a mask off moment. The mask has come off. He's winking because he's lying. He's clearly, demonstrably lying. All right. So, Valentino Grassi, he writes in a tweet, slightly more visible here in the milliseconds after Mr. Rittenhouse fired one round, hitting Mr. Grosskreutz in the bicep of the arm that is holding the pistol. Yep, Kyle has his gun pointed at Gage, whatever. And then, of course, that's when Gage decides to respond and says, make sure you listen for the defendant's firearm malfunctioning. I want to talk about this really quick. Now, there's a lot of genuine, like real world lawyers talking about the law aspects of it. And granted, I can get into some of that, but again, Rekieta Law is excellent. Viva Fry is excellent. Robert Barnes, he joins Viva Fry. There's just a handful of individuals out there. Shout outs to all of you guys that are doing this excellent work. But I'm a firearm guy. And I was listening very closely to the trial, much like these other lawyers and other professionals. Now, me being a professional in this field, I want to talk about some of the things that Gage said about himself and about what transpired between the moments before and after he got shot. So, Gage presents himself as pro Second Amendment. He's pro 2A. He supports guns, and he claimed some knowledge regarding firearms and the Second Amendment. Very interesting. That's going to come into play in a second. Well, he was standing over. You saw that clip. I showed you that clip. What was Kyle doing that would warrant Gage pointing a firearm, pointing his pistol at the young boy? According to Gage Grosskreutz, according to this fruitcake douchebag BLM medic, Kyle Rittenhouse had a malfunction, a firearm malfunction. Now, this is obviously rehearsed. He clearly practiced saying this. I'm going to try to give you the terminology that he used. He said that Kyle Rittenhouse re-racked his firearm prior to shooting Gage in the arm, in the right arm, the bicep. Very, very interesting. You know, we have this whole event on video. So under oath, Gage Grosskreutz stated he surrendered. He had his hands up. But then he noticed evil, spooky, white supremacist, violent boogaloo boy, Kyle Rittenhouse, re-racking his gun. And then Gage was like, I'm going to die. I'm so scared. I mean, I may be brave because I have the right opinions. I have the same opinions as CNN and Disney and Netflix, but I'm not that brave. I think I'm going to die. So he decides to aim the gun at Kyle Rittenhouse. But of course, Gage is a little bitch and he fucking sucks. So he couldn't pop him, blow his head off. Kyle beat him to the punch. Kyle disarmed him, literally. And I thought really hard about this and how I was going to say this. Well, first off, there's no such thing as racking your AR-15. I have an AR-15 right here. I'm going to bring it up to you guys. First off, safety. This thing is completely empty. I'm pointing it in a safe direction. All right. The trigger's no longer under spring tension. So what I just did right here where I'm pointing with my little finger, this is called the charging handle. If you want to load a round into the chamber, you got to charge the gun. There's no racking here. That's not the right firearm. I would expect somebody who appreciates and supports the Second Amendment to understand something that simple, especially about the most common rifle in the United States, the AR-15. So Kyle Rittenhouse re-racked, or I'm going to use the correct terminology, I apologize. He charged this rifle, or his rifle, and then bam! He blows his fucking arm off. I want to show you what that looks like in real time. So for those who don't understand how firearms work, I'm going to demonstrate with the magazine that I have. This is the only magazine I have at this workstation. There is no ammunition here. These are snap cap bullets. These are fake. These are not real. So we're going to go ahead and load this. And this is going to be pointed in a safe direction. I'm going to go ahead and charge the rifle. Well, I'm in an awkward angle here. All right. So right now there is a round in the chamber. The safety is off, and I'm aiming this in a safe direction. So technically speaking, the firearm is in battery. Meaning, at some point in the night, Kyle Rittenhouse was walking around with his AR-15 with a round in the chamber. The firearm was in battery. And then he went off and he shot Rosenbaum. He shot the skater loser boy. And then the gun malfunctioned. It malfunctioned right before he shot Gage Grosskreutz, according to Gage, the fruitcake Black Lives Matter activist thug. So Gage's words, he re-racked it before shooting it. What he really meant to say was he charged the firearm before shooting it. I'm going to show you what happens when you charge a firearm when you have that type of malfunction. So Kyle went to shoot the gun. He went to shoot Gage Grosskreutz. Nothing happens. So he had to charge the weapon. According to Gage, this is what would have happened. You might have missed it, but the dummy round fell out. It flew out of here. That round, if I were to load it up in another magazine, it should technically fire if there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, these types of malfunctions happen all the time. Kyle Rittenhouse didn't have the fanciest, most high-end, rifle, whatever. It was pre-built. It technically should have always worked. And in my estimation, it did. He had a good gun. That was a pretty dramatic movement that I did, right? It was really dramatic. I'm not even kidding. You got to move your arm back quite a ways like this. Your arm is literally doing this. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. All right, so there's no longer any spring tension. And then that trigger pull, let's just imagine that I shot Gage Grosskreutz. So you mean to tell me that his firearm malfunctioned, and then he did the whole he charged the rifle just like that? Where is that in any video that exists online? I'm going to go ahead and set this down. I'm going to remove the magazine. I think there's a round in the chamber. And then my dummy round just fell behind my workbench. It's going to be a lot of fun to get. Gage Grosskreutz is a fucking liar, guys. He perjured himself multiple times on the stand, excluding what I just went over right here. So he lied about the racking the gun like a fucking noob. He says that stupid shit. And he perjured himself. Let me tell you about some of the other things that we discovered today. Gage Grosskreutz was one of the only individuals who did not have his property seized by law enforcement for them to go through all of the information on his phone. He was the only person afforded the Marsy's Law defense. He was the only person afforded this courtesy. Everybody else had their privacy violated or their personal information gone through by law enforcement, including the FBI, except for Gage Grosskreutz, because he's got the right opinions, and he's demonstrably guilty. Some other things that we learned. He, at one point in time, had a concealed carry permit, and then it expired. Yet, he felt the need to conceal carry a small pistol, it was a Glock, the night that he had his arm vaporized, as he puts it. Very interesting. Prior to being completely fucking demolished by the defense during cross-examination, he was being, asked questions by the prosecution team, and they were, going over his history. And of course, he was talking about how empathetic he is. He's so empathetic. He's empathying all over the place. He can't imagine shooting anybody. He can't imagine killing anybody. He would never do such a thing. Then why would you chase after Kyle Rittenhouse, which is literally what he did? He literally streamed himself chasing after the kid. If he legitimately believed that he was a threat worthy of being shot, why didn't you do that when he was right next to you and he engaged Grosskreutz, literally asked him questions? Now, there was other videos and other information that was brought forth of Gage basically insulting. The first interaction between these two individuals was Gage literally insulting Kyle Rittenhouse and antagonizing him, calling him names. But he's so empathetic. He's such a good person. He just wanted to practice medicine and stuff and save people because he's an ally. He's a good ally. He bends the knee and kisses the ass of George Floyd and Jacob Blake. He's such a good person. He would never do such a thing. He didn't do nothing. Really? I'm sure. Another interesting fact, which the defense did an excellent job during cross-examination, or it might have been recross, I can't remember. It was like an 8-9 hour long ordeal. God damn, it was a long day, but my God, it was so worth it because it was wild in that courtroom. But Gage basically said to the police what happened, except he lied. He said that he dropped his firearm. He dropped his pistol before he was shot. That never happened. There's no proof of this happening. And he admitted to that fact. Gage is also trying to get $10 million. And what does he do? He files multiple lawsuits, one of them against the state of Kenosha, or the city of Kenosha, I apologize. And I think there's like a federal lawsuit that he's also trying to, pursue. At least 2 lawsuits, 2 complaints filed by Gage and his legal team. Not once did he mention that he was carrying a firearm unlawfully. I think that's relevant. Gage also has criminal history. He admitted to this. I think that's relevant. Of course, he omits these facts. And when asked, it's like, well, why did you omit these facts to the police? There's a lot of stuff he omitted to the police. There is a lot of stuff he omitted to the police. And he didn't have a good answer for this. It's because he was on drugs. It was a traumatic night, and he had to undergo surgery, and he was on the drugs, and the stress and the pain, etc. And he couldn't remember. You remember what Kyle Rittenhouse looked like. You remember what he was wearing. You remember every single detail about that night, except that you were armed, that you pointed your gun at the kid, that you were concealed carrying when you did not have a valid permit to do so. The guy's a liar. The guy is low IQ. He's a Black Lives Matter activist, so don't expect too much from these people. We know that they're idiots. But the amount of stupidity on display goes beyond words. I have some other stuff here on Twitter. All right, Gage Grosskreutz, arm blown up, claimed to be a medic, yet he was carrying a concealed handgun. Did he have bloodlust? Question mark. It's a valid question. I wouldn't really put it that way, but this is his official Twitter account, by the way. This is also substantiated in the court of law, or during the trial. You seem to be forgetting a couple key facts. I have a legal right to carry as well as a privilege to do so concealed. Yes, you do, but you do not have a valid permit. So you do not get to enjoy the benefits of concealed carry because your permit has expired and it's been expired for quite some time, you fucking weasel. I have extensive emergency medical training and experience, including blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit? All right, what else do we have here? Just wondering, when is Gage Grosskreutz going to be charged for attempted murder of Kyle Rittenhouse? Never. Tweets that aged like milk. And then, of course, this is the prosecution absolutely losing their mind because he got his fucking ass handed to him during the trial. All right, so is Gage going to get in trouble for providing materially false statements to the federal courts, in this trial even, and even to the police? No, he's not. He likely struck a deal with the prosecution, with the state, to provide this testimony against Kyle Rittenhouse, and in exchange, they're not going to be pursuing any charges against him for basically lying to the police, omitting, basically lies by omission at the very least, or deliberate misrepresentations and deceptions at worst. He's not going to get in trouble for these things because he's being protected by the FBI. He's being protected by the prosecutor's office. He's likely going to be protected by Sleepy Creepy Biden's Department of Justice. So Kyle Rittenhouse has pedophile Hollywood against him. He's got the FBI against him. He's got Joe Biden and his DOJ against him. And of course, there are corrupt police officials, corrupt law enforcement that have also been engaged in some really slimy behavior. They were just put on the stand, and oh boy, are they a piece of work. Oh boy, are they a piece of work. Our boy Kyle, it's an uphill battle, but I think we'll win. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace out.